Hello and welcome to Movie Community College.
What's up, everybody?
I'm Tish.
Yes, you are, and I am Jeremy.
Very good, very good. So we have a video here for you about former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
And this was broadcast on C-SPAN, and this is when he addressed a joint session of the U.S. Congress.
Right, which is a very big deal for a foreign leader to be able to come over and address our Congress in this way. Prime Minister Modi has done it.
Yes.
So, yeah, very big deal, and this was broadcast live on C-SPAN, which is one of the cable channels here in America that primarily focuses on governmental affairs.
Yes, don't you go ahead and take a look.
Come to order. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister of India.
This must have been around the year 2000, I'm guessing, just based on some of our former governmental officials who are there, who are no longer in office. It's Dennis Hastert, who used to be Speaker of the House. Oh goodness, that's Strom Thurmond. Remember when he was in the Senate?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's kind of scary to look out in the crowd
There's
there and
Kerry.
see, yes, and Steny Hoyer and see people who are still in Congress right now, who we wish would retire. And it's a joint session of Congress for our Indian friends who are not aware, because this is both houses of Congress. It's the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate.
Members of Congress, it's my high privilege, great honor, and a personal pleasure to present to you His Excellency Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the Prime Minister of the Republic of India.
You didn't pronounce the last name correctly. He looks nice, doesn't he?
I like his suit.
Yeah. He looks like a nice man. Let's wait until everybody's situated and
You guess what he's doing?
yep, has their paperwork in hand.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. President Pro Tem, honorable members of the United States of America, Congress. It is with a deep sense of honor that I speak to you today. I would like to thank you, Mr. Speaker, and the members of the Congress for giving me this opportunity. In November 1999, a remarkable event took place in the House of Representatives. By a vote of 396 to 4, the House adopted a resolution congratulating India and my government on the successful elections completed in October 1999. This display of broad-based bipartisan support for strengthening relations with India is heartening.
Who are the four people who
is a
voted
source of
against that, by the way?
encouragement
I'm going to find out and
to
hunt it
both
down.
President Clinton and to me as we work together to infuse a new quality in our
Yep,
ties.
2000 this is.
I thank you for the near unique approach that you have adopted towards my country. Those of you who saw the warm response to President Clinton's speech to our parliament in March this year will recognize that similar cross-party support exists in India as well for deeper engagement with the United States of America. I am also deeply touched by the resolution adopted in the House of 2 days ago, welcoming my visit and the prospect of closer Indo-US understanding. I am equally encouraged by the resolution adopted by the Senate yesterday. Mr. Speaker, American people have shown that democracy and individual liberty provide the conditions in which knowledge progresses, science discovers, innovation occurs, enterprise thrives, and ultimately people advance. More than 1.5 million from my country, America is now home. In turn, their industry, enterprise, and skills are contributing to the advancement of American society. I see in the outstanding success of the Indian community in America a metaphor, the most potential that exists in Indo-US relations of what we can achieve together. Just as American experience
They could have given him a better binder.
in what
Adjust the
people
mic
can
for him.
achieve in a democratic framework, India has been the laboratory of a democratic process, rising to meet the strongest challenges that can be flung at it. In the half-century of our independence,
Yep.
we have woven an exquisite tapestry. Out of diversity, we have brought unity. The several languages of India speak with one voice under the roof of our parliament. In your remarkable experiment as a nation-state, you have proven the same truth. Out of the huddled masses that you welcome to your shores, you have created a great nation. For me,
Yes,
the
thank
most
you. Please
gratifying
help
of the many
him.
achievements of Indian democracy has been the change
Okay,
it
young
has
Paul
brought
Ryan.
to the lives of the weak and the vulnerable. To give just one figure, in recent years, it has enabled more than 1 million women in small towns and distant villages to enter local elected councils and to decide on issues that touch upon their lives. Two years ago, while much of
Casey
Asia was
Watts there.
convulsed by economic crisis, India held its course. In the last 10 years, we have grown at 6.5% per year. That puts India among the fast 10 latest growing economies of the world.
And that was 18 years ago.
Economic activity gets more and more diversified by the year. President Clinton and many among the friends gathered here have had occasion to glimpse our advances in information technology. We are determined to sustain the momentum of our economy. Our aim is to double our per capita income in 10 years, and that means we must grow at 9% a year. To achieve this order of growth, we have ushered in comprehensive reforms. We are committed to releasing the creative genius of our people, the enterprising skills of the men and women of the country, of its scientists and craftsmen. At the same time, we in India remain committed to the primacy of the state in fulfilling its social obligations to the deprived, the weak, and the poor. Important sectors of the country's infrastructure, power, insurance, banking, telecom, are being opened to private initiatives, domestic and foreign. Trade barriers are being lowered. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, there are forces outside our country that believe that they can use terror to unravel the territorial integrity of India. They wish to show that a multi-religious
And
society
they're still doing that.
cannot exist. They pursue a task in which they are doomed to fail. No country has faced as ferocious an attack of terrorist violence as India has over the last 2 decades. 21,000 were killed by foreign-sponsored terrorists in Punjab alone. 16,000 have been killed in Jammu and Kashmir. As many of you here in the Congress have recent hearings recognized its stark fact, no region is a greater source of terrorism than our neighborhood. Indeed, in our neighborhood in the 21st century, religious war has not just been fashioned into, it has been proclaimed to be an instrument of state policy. Distance offers no insulation. It should not cause complacence. You know, and I know, such evil cannot succeed. But even in failing, it could inflict untold suffering. That is why the United States and India have begun to deepen their cooperation for combating terrorism. We must redouble these efforts. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen,
It's like an Indian
There was a time-
delegation too.
Yep.
when we were on the other side of each other's globes, today, on every digital map, India and the United States are neighbors and partners.
And friends.
India and the United States have taken the lead in shaping the information age. Over the last decade, this new technology has sustained American prosperity in a way that has challenged conventional wisdom on economic growth. We are two nations blessed with extraordinary resources and talent. Measured in terms of the industries of tomorrow, we are together defining the partnership of the future. But our two countries have the potential to do more to shape the character of the global economy in this century. We should turn the example of our own cooperation into a partnership that uses the possibility of new technologies for defining new ways of fighting poverty, illiteracy, hunger, disease, and pollution. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that India and America can and should march hand in hand towards a world in which economic conditions improve for all.
I agree.
A situation that provides comfortable living standards to 1/3 of the world's population but condemns the remaining 2/3 to poverty and want is unsustainable. The foremost responsibility that the 21st century has cast on all of us is to change this unacceptable legacy of the past. It should be our common endeavor to overcome this legacy. I therefore propose a comprehensive global dialogue on development. We would be happy to offer New Delhi as the venue for this dialogue. In this Congress, you have often expressed concern about the future contours of Asia.
So that was?
I did.
Will it be an Asia that will be at peace with itself? Or will it be a continent where countries seek to redraw boundaries and settle claims, historical or imaginary, through force? We seek an Asia where power does not threaten stability and security. We do not want the domination of some to crowd out the space for others. We must create an Asia where cooperative rather than aggressive assertion of national self-interest defines behavior among nations. If we want an Asia fashioned on such ideals, a democratic, prosperous, tolerant, pluralistic, stable Asia, if we want an Asia where our vital interests are secure, then it is necessary for us to re-examine old assumptions. It is imperative for India and the United States to work together more closely in pursuit of these goals. In the years ahead, a strong, democratic and economically prosperous India is standing at the crossroads of all the major cultural and economic zones of Asia will be an indispensable factor of stability in the region. Our cooperation for peace
They are a stability in the region, that is for sure, just like
requires us
Israel.
to also define the principles of our own engagement. We must be prepared to accommodate our respective concerns. We must have mutual confidence to acknowledge our respective roles and complementary responsibilities in areas of vital importance to each of us. Security issues have cast a shadow on our relationship. I believe this is unnecessary. We have much in common and no clash of interests. We both share a commitment to ultimately eliminating nuclear weapons. We have both declared voluntary moratoriums on testing.
You saw a movie about that.
Yes, this was a couple years after that.
We do not wish to unravel your non-proliferation efforts. We wish you to understand our security concerns. We are at a historic moment in our ties.
Absolutely.
As we embark on our common endeavor to build a new relationship, we must give practical shape to our shared belief that democracies can be friends, partners, and allies.
Yep.
In recent years, through all the good and difficult times, we have spoken to each other more often than we have ever done in the past. I thank President Clinton for this leadership and vision in steering this dialogue. I sincerely thank members of this Congress for supporting and encouraging this process. As we talk with candor, we open the doors to new possibilities and new areas of cooperation in advancing democracy, in combating terrorism, in energy and environment, science and technology, and in international peacekeeping. And we are discovering that our shared values and common interests are leading us to seek a natural partnership of shared endeavors. India and the United States have taken a decisive step away from the past. The dawn of the new century has marked a new beginning in our relations. Let us work to fulfill this promise and the hope of today. Let us remove the shadow of hesitation that lies between us and our joint vision. Let us use the strength of all that we have in common to build together a future that we wish for ourselves and for the world that we live in. Thank you.
Very good speech.
So what did you think of that?
I thought it was an excellent speech. Not much different from one that Modi gave recently. And I find almost nothing that I can disagree with in what he said. I think he's absolutely right. We have so many shared values as countries, and we are fighting a lot of the same fight.
Mm-hmm.
We want a lot of the same things for our people, and I think the world is better when India and America are working together.
He said something, he said a phrase that I like, the shadow of hesitation. Very good word picture for
Yep,
that. The
yep.
shadow, oh, he's a poet.
I was just going
That
to say.
was very
I was gonna
poetic, the
point that out,
shadow
yeah.
of hesitation.
Yes, yes.
I'm going to steal that and use that because there is a shadow of hesitation between us and people who need to subscribe.
Oh,
Don't be
wow.
afraid of the shadow of hesitation. Subscribe. He is a visionary.
Yeah.
He's talking about the war on terror.
Yeah, and it was
Before we're really thrown into it.
Well, because keep in mind, India had been dealing with
Yes.
that already for decades,
Yes.
and this was right before. This was, a year or so before 9/11. So we had
Really?
had some skirmishes,
Yes.
but nothing like 9/11.
And
So,
then we also are right after Parmanu.
yes, this was a couple of years after that. So that
Yeah,
was
you're here
great.
because you're a nuclear power
Yes,
now.
that was awesome.
And what we find out in hindsight is Bill Clinton was selling America out to the Chinese left and right.
Yeah. Well,
So that
that's
explains
not a
his
surprise.
stance towards
It's
India.
not a surprise.
Yes.
Bill-
Very good speech.
yeah,
Likable guy. Very
Bill Clinton
likable.
was very kind of expedient, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think it was a good speech. I think he rightly pointed out
Shadow of hesitation, I
that
like that.
India is a force for good in that
Stability,
region,
yes.
force for stability in that region, just like Israel is in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, when Israel, India, and America are together, that's a good
Life is
thing.
good.
That is a good
Life
thing.
is good.
Yes,
Yeah,
good for
excellent.
all freedom-loving people. So, again, to our Indian friends, our condolences over the loss of Prime Minister Vajpayee, and this was kind of our salute to him. There are many, 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 many other things that could be said about him, and lots of other videos that could have been done. But we wanted to pick something that kind of showed joint cooperation
Yes,
between
I
India and
agree.
America. So, all right. On that note, bye.